What's up, guys? It's your boy GP with DeOrganized Media, bringing you another awesome episode of DeOrganized Nightly, where we get your favorite Giga Brain Astronaut Scholars into the same room, discuss world news, Bitcoin, and kick out high frequency vibes. It's been an awesome Wednesday. A lot of good building going on in the Stacks ecosystem. Getting to talk with the BitFlow crew and getting to see Hermetica's 2.0 of their platform. We've got some base chads in the house tonight, and we're gonna get straight into it. I've got some bookmarks for you guys that I thought were pretty interesting. So let me share my screen with you, and we'll get straight into the news. So, starting off, the stacking. So from the base chat himself, me. Stacking DAO poker tournament tomorrow at 11 a.m. ET. We are hosting the first Stacking DAO poker tournament. There are some big prizes in STSTX to win. First place gets $100 in STSTX, second place $70, and third place $30. So join the Stacking DAO Discord for more info, and you can follow me at GPSC_STX to find that information. It is in my highlighted post. So go join the Discord, guys. Let's have some fun. And I made this cool little infographic to go with it. Join the Discord with the cards there as well. So coming from Grant Measley, we just finished week 3 of the Bitcoin's Rider cohort. This week we wrote about everything from stacks enabling music NFTs to Bitcoin mining. Read the excerpts and post here. Grant is with the Stacks Foundation. You can follow him at Grant Measley. Very, very cool stuff there. And this is very interesting coming out of Stacks Asia. That is at StacksAsia.org if you would like to follow along. SBTC's first 21 million BTC in TVL. We've assembled a team to make it happen. Stacks Asia plus Taptive HQ, SNZ Holding, Lunar Crush plus Coinage Media. A wave of Bitcoin capital is coming. More on the initiative, Stacks Asia Foundation here. They got a little link there, and very, very interesting stuff. Seems like a very powerful combo, and we're going to discuss this a little bit later on. This is a whole lot of Bitcoin to onboard in TVL, and they must have some very, very based plans. So very cool stuff, and we'll get into that in a little bit. Bitcoin news. Bitcoin futures market saw a massive influx of 57K BTC. $5.345 billion over 3 days, marking the largest liquidity increase in the past year. And they've got this cool infographic of Bitcoin price, and this is liquidity here, and this is the big influx of liquidity that they're talking about right here. All of that BTC. Very cool stuff. Open interest is high. So new, despite a 11.7% Bitcoin drop in Q1, Tesla maintained its 11,509 BTC holdings, remaining the 5th largest public company with Bitcoin exposure, according to data from Bitcoin treasuries. Very cool. Tesla still hodling on. New U.S. Treasury bond buybacks could inject massive dollar liquidity, potentially driving Bitcoin to 200K per former BitMEX CEO Arthur Hayes. They're going to be doing some, buybacks. Maybe you could get an injection of liquidity. Cool. We'll talk a little bit about that too. From the main Stacks handle at Stacks, institutions recognize that Stacks is the leading Bitcoin layer 2. Jump, UTXO, SNZ, and others invested in SBTC. Grayscale launched the STX Trust Fund. Exchanges like Crypto.com offer STX stacking. Enterprise grade validators with billions in AUM support stacks as signers. Very, very bullish stuff going on, guys. And from Hermetica, the base founders, big shout out to Jacob. You can follow Hermetica at Hermetica Buy. Hermetica 2.0 is now live. A new interface with full transparency, simpler to use, easier to trust, and built to scale. Hermetica's USDH is the first Bitcoin-backed stablecoin. So go get you some. Let's get in there like swimwear and get some USDH. Hermetica is also partnered with Zest Protocol and provided $1 million in liquidity and is now powering Zest liquidations. So Hermetica USDH is actually pretty cheap to borrow right now, and there's plenty of awesome arbitrage opportunities. You could borrow that USDH and then go over to the Velar Perp Dex and also earn 5% APY paid out weekly for opening up a long on their Perp Dex using USDH. You could also use that USDH to do a value loop where you swap that USDH into STX, then head over to Stacking DAO and mint STSDX with that STX that you just swapped into, and then supply that STSDX you just minted back to Zest in a value loop. Pretty much going leverage long on STX. So yeah, everything that we discuss here is not financial advice, and obviously do your own research, but sounds like a base play, and I am using that play to my advantage. Actually, I am using both of those plays to my advantage. From Stacking DAO, and you can follow Stacking DAO at Stacking DAO. Stacking DAO team is coming to Dubai for Token 2049 from April 30 to May 1st. If you will be at the event, reach out in DMs to connect with the leading DeFi protocol on Stacks. We look forward to seeing and hearing from you. Very cool stuff. Tycho's going to be out there too. Zest Protocol from Zest Protocol here. Zest Protocol co-founder Tycho will be at Tokens 2049 in Dubai from April 30 to May 1st. Perfect opportunity to connect and discuss all things Bitcoin, L2s, DeFi, stacks, and more. Very, very based co-founder here. Big shout out to Tycho. Coming out of Cointelegraph here, latest, after ETH's price rose a well-dumped 754 ETH worth $89 million, borrowing 15,000 ETH from Aave and withdrawing another 35,754 ETH to sell at an average price of $1,000,794. Yeah, this is crazy here. Don't know if this whale is bearish or what they're doing, but he dumped a whole lot of ETH. So more viable options out there like stacks that is cheaper, faster, stronger, more secure, all of the above. New OpenAI would buy Chrome if a court forces Google to sell it, says ChatGPT chief Nick Turley, calling it a key to an AI-first experience. Cool. Insight: Bitcoin mining is booming in 2025, but high cost, energy inefficiencies, and lack of sustainable infrastructure still hold many back. Miners official is changing that zero interest BTC loans, ledger security collateral, and high performance rigs, and in green energy sites like their 100 MW facility in Ethiopia. Miners can use BTC as collateral, no selling, no interest, no credit checks, with 15,000 plus units financed and 100 million credit pool. Mining is now accessible from Africa to Asia. Would you take the loan and scale or hodl and wait? Good question. Just in, Elon will scale back his role at the White House Doge office, saying the major work is done and he'll now refocus on Tesla. Doge's projected savings have dropped from 2 trillion to 150 billion amid calculation errors and missed targets. I'll take 150 billion versus nothing. I sounded a little skeptical there. Whereas we were spending dumb money on dumb things, we are saving 150 billion dollars of taxpayer money. So big shout out to Elon and the Doge department. Just in, PayPal will offer 3.7% annual rewards on Pi USD stablecoin balances to boost adoption as competition in the stable market intensifies. Yeah, very, very cool stuff there if you want to buy the PayPal Mafia stable. Um, Alert, crypto drainers are now sold as SaaS for $100 to $300, with some groups openly recruiting at IT fairs and on Telegram. Dirty, dirty, dirty. Um, Latest, amid U.S. tariff-driven market turmoil, Bitcoin is down just 10% year-to-date versus Nasdaq 16%, with Bernstein citing strong demand, regulatory support, and rising institutional adoption as key drivers. Look, we were discussing this last night, and there's been this question flying around on crypto Twitter, like, has Bitcoin decoupled from the stock market? And it's up for debate. What do you think? Drop it in the comments. Do you think Bitcoin has decoupled or not? Um, Insight. Historically, Bitcoin has followed a 4-year cycle, but will it still follow this cycle? We sat down with Checkmatey to see what's really going on, and I have no idea who Checkmatey is, but yeah, cool. Maybe we'll go back and get his take a little later. Just in, Alabama drops its case against Coinbase. Alabama claims a cease and desist order should not be issued against Coinbase for their cryptocurrency staking services. Very, very cool. Insight, Ethereum sentiment has turned sharply negative, even as the blockchain is destroying the competition in the 16.1 trillion TradFi tokenization race via Cointelegraph magazine. Destroying, very, very interesting adjective there. Destroying. Okay, ETH is the only thing about ETH that's destroyed is the price action. Just in, the top 220 Trump holders will be able to register for a Trump dinner with the president. That's so funny. Now the official Trump token is 45% up after the Trump dinner announcement. That's hilarious. He is notorious for eating McDonald's. What if they showed up, bought all of those tokens, and then they just have an assortment of dinner, like Big Macs and like McDonald's salads and stuff? That would be hilarious. Oh man, can't make it up. Just in, Riot Platform secured $100 million Bitcoin-backed credit facility from Coinbase. Cool stuff. Tether, SoftBank, and Jack Mallers launched 21, a Bitcoin-native public company backed by 42,000 BTC, becoming the third largest BTC treasury globally. New, SEC acknowledged FanX filing for a spot AVAX ETF. Latest, White House considering cutting China tariffs between 50 and 65% to ease trade tensions as Trump weighs final decision. Today, Gate has completed a brief upgrade to its future services after high platform traffic, with all functions now fully restored and a compensation channel planned for affected users. Gate.io having some volume control issues. Bullish, U.S. spot Bitcoin ETFs pulled in 936 million Tuesday, the largest since January, with a 1.4 billion added over 3 days. And they have this cool infographic here. Very, very cool stuff. And that is the news, guys. I hope that we have kept you in the know. I've got some guys waiting on us. Let me stop sharing my screen and let's bring the guys on. So tonight we have the legendary Shiflet. What's up, Shiflet?
Hey.
We have the legend of all legends, Jack Bit Switch. We have Crypto Dude. What's up, Crypto Dude? And we have our beloved Peace Love Music. Fellas, happy Wednesday. Hope you got over the hump just fine. How are we doing?
Fantastic.
You know, you said something in the news that I just want to pay some attention to real quick. Guys, about those drainers, that is no joke, especially with market sentiment turning bullish. if somebody DMs you and wants to offer you a job or wants to set up some kind of meeting or something, 99.9% of the time that is going to be horseshit. Okay, if anyone wants to talk to you, you set the meeting using your, Google Space Link or Discord or what have you. Okay, do not, or just talk to them in Telegram or whatever. And then the other part is more insidious than that. It could be someone you know, but how do you know that they haven't been hacked? Okay, so you have to exercise extreme caution, because the scammers get more and more creative every day, and people in this space who are experienced are at risk of it. So there's a lesson there about what you keep on your hot wallets, and there's just a lesson there in taking your time and being patient and just being wary.
Yeah, you can't be too wary in this space. As it grows and more adoption of crypto happens, unfortunately, the number of bad actors entering the space rises exponentially against that. So it's one of those things. Like I don't think that are not against it with it. So it's one of those things. You're right, Jack. You gotta be careful. And then like if you get a strange DM from somebody that you know, and it just seems like out of the ordinary, just please be very, very careful. They may have been hacked. We'll see some of that as the market grows and price action starts to correct and stuff. Very, very valid point.
I've had people from like legit accounts try to do that to me before, and the legit account, has been inactive for a while, or it's been hacked, or you just have to be careful, man. Like if you were
like classify a legit account. There's people that have like 100,000 fake followers that are posing as real companies trying to give people jobs with 9,000 bots in their Discord, fake people with fake metrics all the way around. So if it seems too good to be true, it's likely not true. Don't lose your shirt over it.
Yeah, I mean, if you had 30 grand in your pocket and you were like walking around a city, like you would probably just stop and be like, why am I walking around with 30 grand in my pocket in the first place? Right? Just think about your wallet like that. Like just be careful.
On top of that, like if you the most of the networking you'll do for stuff like that will probably be at conferences. So, and people, the least likelihood of scam activity are people who are willing to show up at conferences and pay the entry fee. The conferences are where you're going to get the most genuine interactions, and you'll know that it's not some account that you think it is being hacked. It's the person standing right in front of you, interacting with you in real time.
A handshake,
Yep.
So
you can't fake a handshake.
Can't fake a handshake. That's a based quote right there. So one of the things that we can do is like always make sure that we're using official links whenever we're going to protocols that we use often. Don't get comfortable, guys. Like stay wary. It's okay to have that type of mindset because you're protecting your bags and you're likely protecting those around you as well. So
keep an eye out for the warning in the transaction, wallet confirmation for, whether or not the post conditions are in allow mode, because, if it's in allow mode, it's going to let basically anything slide in there. So that's how they get you. That's one vector of how they get you. Otherwise, they'll just straight have you, using some malicious interface that will configure those post conditions. You won't see that warning, but you should see the assets in the list of assets that are going to be transacted, and that should set off another red flag in your head. Like that's you didn't have the intention to send those assets. So.
All right.
And that good point. Check your before you sign anything. Check over the message. It'll tell you exactly in a human legible way what is going on. Scary stuff, man.
That grayscale news is going to be a creeper too, because we're under a month from the inception of the private placement, and I bring this up from time to time, but I spoke to a Grayscale rep, and he says they have it pretty much streamlined down to a year from private placement to public quotation. So if that stands to be historically precise, then we could potentially get a public quotation on this Grayscale Stacks Trust as soon as May 22nd, by which people can hold it in their retirement accounts and brokerage accounts. It'll have a QSIP and exist on the stock market.
Now, what about BitGo?
BitGo is huge too.
That's massive.
Absolutely. General awareness of SBTC. A lot of people are familiar with BitGo, but not familiar with Stacks and SBTC. That's going to be huge. That's going to get a lot of people curious and looking.
So BitGo was like the sole custodian of WBTC, which is like the most widely used wrapped Bitcoin asset in DeFi. So if that tells you anything, there's that. And all of those people that are using their Bitcoin in ETH DeFi with wrapped BTC are now going to have the exposure to SBTC, and they're going to be like, what is this? And what is the SBTC? It's a decentralized wrapped Bitcoin product in the Stacks ecosystem. So there's no trust involved. There's no federated systems involved. So therefore, it is safer, sounder, and programmable.
It's Bitcoin L2 that is secured on the base chain on Bitcoin. And ETH is one-to-one backed wrapped Bitcoin, trusting another blockchain. So do you trust Bitcoin or do you trust ETH more? That's it.
And then, I mean, where stuff like SBTC is going to become so important, I think, is I just don't know how we avoid a situation where we wind up with like fractionalized Bitcoin. There's too many people jumping into the system right now, and this is not just crypto. This is TradFi, right? Like, there's going to be more Bitcoin sold than actually exists at some point. That's going to be an issue, I think. So you want to make sure that you have actual Bitcoin. And if you want to use your Bitcoin, SBTC is Bitcoin that is actual Bitcoin. It's one-to-one pegged. You can't fake that, So I it's not an issue yet as far as we know, but I just don't see, with the proliferation of Bitcoin L2s and, TradFi with its just, I don't know, dude. I just don't see how we don't wind up in a situation where someone winds up buying Bitcoin that's not actually Bitcoin.
Well, there's history there. People used to believe the dollar was backed by gold. And then when they got called out on it by France, Nixon took us off the gold standard because we probably didn't have enough gold to redeem the dollars that France wanted to redeem. So we needed to get into a space in which the quote unquote paper Bitcoin is actually backed by Bitcoin. And since Bitcoin is an open blockchain, all these ETFs and things like that, I know Bitwise does it. Bitwise posts the address in which the Bitcoin exists that is held by the ETF. The ETF holders own the Bitcoin that Bitwise is custodying in the wallet address. If all the other ETFs adopt that, then there's transparency that the Bitcoin's actually there. And the same thing with these other Bitcoin wrapped products. The addresses need to be public so that way they can be audited and people know that the Bitcoin is actually there.
And I think that guys like us are going to be dinosaurs soon.
100%.
Like, I think that people, the amount of people that can use, and that can actually like look at Etherscan or Hero Explorer or track anything online, when it comes, or on chain rather. I think that number, if it hasn't peaked already, is probably pretty close to peaking. I think that at some point, this stuff's going to be so common that you're just not gonna, most people just aren't gonna really know that. They're like, oh, I've got Bitcoin, or I want to buy Bitcoin, or what have you, but they'll not use it. I think that's going to be a pretty sizable position of holders in the future.
Yeah, earning yield is going to be one button away. It's going to be one of those things that people aren't going to have to go through a process of like going here to mint this token and then taking it here to farm it. It's all going to be like the AI telling you to play.
Right.
Hey,
The agents are going to do it for you.
exactly. So you're right, Jack. Like it's one of those things that the guy scanning the chain, the AI is going to be doing it for you. You know, I thought that news from Stacks Asia was pretty interesting.
Abs-
21 million or 21,000 BTC.
one last note on abstraction, because like Jack brought up a really good point with us looking like dinosaurs the way we check everything. Jack Mahler's, if y'all haven't seen it, has an awesome presentation on all of the latency that exists in the fiat ecosystem when it comes to like a credit card transaction. Like, even though you get instant, what you think is settlement, you get the product. All the things that happens in the background, the lending, the transferring of funds from the bank to the business, all that stuff takes 2 weeks.
Right.
But it's abstracted away because we have a credit card. We don't see it. I feel like how Jack mentioned, where we check the Etherscan or Hero and all these different things, it's going to come at some point where all the things that happen in the background gets abstracted away. But yes, Stacks Asia, that's a really bullish tweet that I saw that you shared.
Yeah, I think that 21. What was the calculation on it? What is 21,000 BTC at $100,000 a coin?
I
It's
believe it's 2.1 billion.
crazy amount of capital like to onboard into SBTC, and like I want to share my screen a little bit here, and kind of tap in with Taptive, maybe seeing a little bit about what Taptive is. Taptive is like one of these partners that is going to be helping with this partnership and possibly onboarding 21,000 BTC. It's a relatively new account, but I think it's worth a follow. So I have it. I'm going to turn on notifications here. But getting back to the bookmarks and stuff, I want to pull that back up. The Stacks Asia news here, and then maybe we can get into this. So I'll pull up this. Let me replace my screen. This. Let's take a look at this just a little bit, right? So the Stacks Asia Foundation is excited to announce a new initiative with Taptive alongside SNZ, Capital, Lunar Crush, and Coinage to meet a singular ecosystem goal: to grow the total value locked of SBTC to its first 21,000 BTC. With aspirations well beyond that figure in the future, building upon past experience with SBTC growth, Taptive will lead this initiative, focusing on both institutional relationships and marketing. After reaching critical technical milestones in 2024, Stacks is well positioned for this next phase of growth. The Nakamoto upgrade enabled fast blocks and Bitcoin finality, while SBTC brought programmable Bitcoin to the Stacks layer. These developments laid in the foundation for expanding DeFi ecosystem. STX DeFi TVL hit an all-time high, and SBTC's mentors filled the latest SBTC cap in less than 24 hours, bringing the total BTC deposits above 3,000 BTC, roughly 275 million. Participants in early SBTC caps included established firms like UTXO Management, SNZ Capital, and Jump Crypto, signaling strong institutional demand for SBTC. SBTC TVL growth is critical to the Stacks growth strategy. As outlined in recent roadmap discussions, this initiative will mobilize targeted resources to accelerate progress toward this goal. So yeah, like it sounds like they have a very base team put together. Let's kind of read into the strategic focus areas. We have like institutional relationships, we've got marketing and working group, we've got application support. This it sounds like they've got like an idea of what they have to do. I've passionately believed in the Stacks ecosystem since I first read the SBTC white paper in late 2024. The vision and importance of SBTC has been clear from the start, and I plan to do what it takes to make SBTC the top tokenized Bitcoin asset. What are you guys feeling about this? Does this feel right? Does this feel like right on par with what we've been talking about all this time for the last 2 years or so? Like for a while? Does it sound like the right initiative is starting to take place? And do we have a base team working on getting SBTC adoption?
Well, I think that if people at the Stacks Foundation trust machines, I kind of think of them interchangeably. If they've proven anything, they've proven that they're very good at business development in general, right? Like when we saw that second cap, how quickly that got filled. That didn't get filled from guys like us. You know what I'm saying? That got filled. That was a lot of legwork on the business end, getting people to put their Bitcoin here. And liquidity is essential. And it's especially essential if you want SBTC to be what we think that it is. So yeah, I think it's bullish. I think that it's a good move. Again, like on the community side of things, I don't tend to look at it strictly as we need all of these big bucks here. The way that I know that this ecosystem works, when it's not just the Stacks ecosystem, but crypto in general, is the process looks a little something like this. A dev does some really cool shit, right? And people get real excited about it. And that excitement brings more people. And now, like, you have a lot of attention on this idea. You have a lot of liquidity going to this thing that the dev built. And then you have, like, the money people kind of take notice and be like, oh, that's pretty cool. So either at that point, the dev gets very well funded if he's not well funded already, or you start seeing other things being built around this locus of attention. In our case, for our intents and purposes, if this was Stacks, right? So I think that when you combine the two, you're probably living in the best possible reality. Because if you've already got all that liquidity there, that means you've already got people there. That means you're attracting more devs who are going to build more shit anyway. And that means you're going to have more users coming by to see what this is all about. So I think it's a very good thing. It's just half the picture, but it's a very important half of the picture. But it's not the whole picture.
SBTC adoption is Stacks adoption.
Yeah, and the more liquidity you have on Stacks, the more people you're going to have on Stacks, the more innovation you're going to have on Stacks, the more mind share Stacks is going to have, and you just keep winning.
It's a positive flywheel.
It's also adoption of Bitcoin. Adoption of SBTC is also adoption of Bitcoin because it adds more functionality than just Bitcoin. So it's adoption of everything we're trying to achieve right now, SBTC.
Right. I mean, look,
it's being adopted, like it's actually being adopted. It's being
small fries either.
Right.
Look at Hermetica, for instance, how instrumental USDH is already becoming in Stacks DeFi, right?
It's huge.
That's because and this team that has put all this together. You want as many teams like that as humanly possible. You want devs to see USDH and be like, oh, I can build something with that. You want venture capital looking at USDH being like, wow, we need to get in on this too, and you need more of that USDH liquidity. That's just one instance. So like yeah, there's so many ways that, like Shiflet said, it's a great flywheel. So it's important. Um, and on a community side, we do a very good job. I'd say we do a better job than any other community by far. Um, but liquidity will bring the attention. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. You know, that's coming because the beauty part about this space is there's no gatekeeping. Like at the end of the day, the best ideas win, and you want the best, people with the best ideas in your ecosystem. And fat bags liquidity is a great way to make that happen.
Yeah, I think that with all of the building, we talked about this a little bit, right? So the last leg up last year was kind of built on news, right? Like here's what the plan is for the future. But now that we have the Nakamoto upgrade, Bitcoin finality, and we have SBTC live, it's kind of built on like, hey, we have this solid sound infrastructure that's literally like 15-foot thick concrete, solid as it comes. Can't break it. And I think that the devs knew that this was going to happen. Like, price action didn't even affect them. They didn't even think twice about it. They just kept their heads down building. And I'm really encouraged to see the Stacks Foundation getting in touch with the core users and builders, like the indie devs and all of that, like with initiatives. And you're right, like the more liquidity and adoption that we have with SBTC, the bigger players we have adopting that, the more funding we might see for other building within the Stacks ecosystem and eyes to see what's going on here and what people are trying to accomplish.
100%. And if I think that we're going to see the DeFi on Bitcoin meta explode, and I think it's going to be so much bigger than DeFi on ETH was with DeFi Summer that it's going to be insane. Like none of us are truly ready for what that's going to look like, because we have like the respectable real DeFi too, and we'll have all the fun Ponzi-nomics popping up around here too. Like there's going to be something for everybody.
Yeah. The fun Ponzi-nomics, the very, very purely speculative, like completely like outrageous plays that people make dumb money on, and then yes, there's gonna be a little bit of everything. I do agree, and we have social fi applications being built now. Shout out Crypto Dude, like really building the change there. I got to see a little peek of his coding process today after the meme lesson. He tuned in. I taught him a little something about cooking. He taught me a little something about cooking and showed me some of the guts of how things work. And my God, is this guy a very, very based, talented coder. So what we got going on with BoostX and SocialFi Crypto Dude? You wanna talk a little bit about like what you showed me today?
Yeah, you talking about the space drops, aka airdrops?
Yes.
Yeah.
Based.
I love that name, by the way.
Yeah. Seems on point because we're doing it.
Sounds like an edible.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Sounds like the conversation we were having yesterday, GP.
Yeah, dude. Right on with that conversation.
That's hilarious. Yeah, but yeah, basically, in Spaces, there's a button, for space drops. With anybody will be able to click it, and then it opens the modal for being able to compile the list of who's going to participate in the space drop. So you can, select. Well, it filters out all the non-BNS names, right? And then it allows you to select and deselect who you want.
There's a little funny there that we had earlier, right? Because whenever you're doing these spaces, like you have the select all eligible button, right? And then you'll see who has the real BNSs and their actual registered BNSs. And then we'll see who just has .btc in their handle. So it's kind of a way to see.
Yeah, I think I saw something like that.
Yeah.
Somebody didn't have in one of the contests, right, or something. There was a contest on
Where the
X.
hell did they think that the drop was going to go?
Right? Why do
I
you
know, right?
like? Right. What do you?
There's
It's
two
like,
sides.
I did not understand the assignment.
Yeah, there you go. Didn't understand the assignment, right? Like, so either did not understand and thought it was a trend and just started putting .btc because they're just new, they're green as they come, or they just don't have skin in the game and they just wanted to fit in with the cool kids, right? But there's two things about that. Is that one, we may be able to educate people and like say, hey, like, you know, that .btc, and let them know a little bit about BNS and what it means to have, you know, your namespace. You know, it's one of those things, right? We can see these people and we can
Right, that's an onboarding opportunity, obviously, because that person doesn't really have a BNS name, so they need a BNS name.
It's a win-win.
Yeah, exactly. And it automatically filters out the people that don't even have the BNS name in their name. So you can be like, okay, it looks like there's quite a few people in the space, but only a handful of you showed up in the airdrop. So you know, time to give you the spiel on how to onboard. Hero
It's like-
Gamer temp account, DZZ
Yeah,
bedtime.
Hero,
and
dude,
Hero.
I'm praying for a man. Like I'm
Yeah, Hero Gamer, you guys know Hero he lost access to his account. He has a backup account and all that jazz.
You know, Hero showing up made me think about something important. Because the very first time I had a nonce issue in my wallet,
Do you want to show him on? Like,
I went to the Stacks Discord. Uh-oh.
dude, he's getting huge.
he's
Jeez,
huge.
oh, God.
Dude, like last week he was a puppy. What happened?
Yeah, dude. That's
Those
he's-
paws, man.
his paws are even bigger. He's giant. He's going to be big.
That's a big
And he
boy.
wants to fight.
You know, ride him like a horse.
I don't know if you guys can see. Like, you can't really see it, but I got like
He got some claw marks and bite marks and stuff.
bite marks all up and down my hands and arms just from him playing. He's this what it is.
Dude, I had
And Jack's cat's like,
Yeah.
don't forget about me. I fuck shit up too.
yeah.
That cat's retarded. Seriously, like, this funny story. We had a stray cat, like a feral cat, have kittens on our carport, right? And like, my wife was worried about them, and the kids, they were little, they were worried about them. So they went out there and they got the kittens, and the mama cat took that one and ran off with it before they could get it. And you know, so like, we're like bottle feeding kittens and stuff. And then a couple days later, you know, she dropped him back off where the other kittens were, and then she went on her way.
Wow.
And I don't know where she brought him, but I'm pretty sure she dropped him on his head. Because the cat,
Bring it back. Yeah, sure. Probably left him here.
yeah, that cat, yeah, like, she's like, I don't know, I grabbed the wrong one. Shit, you know, like, it's like Forrest Gump levels of cat retardation. Like, it's
You know, Forrest Gump of cats. Wow.
yeah.
What's the name on the cat, Jack?
The kids named all of them. His name is Chop. CHOP. Yeah, just
Job.
Chop the dumbass.
You got chopped the wrong way or something. Shit,
I'm telling you.
man.
But my very first nonce issue, I went to the Stacks Discord and Hero walked me through it. And like, guys, like, the Stacks ecosystem is getting ready to explode. Like, this community is about to be so much bigger. It's bigger than it's ever been. That we're on the verge of that. And we need, as many good leaders as humanly possible. Okay, so get a mentor, whatever. If you like this space, if you enjoy it, if Stacks is your home, like, we need as many hero gamers going forward for the health of this ecosystem as humanly possible, because at some point people are going to retire. Like,
well, you know what? We need more leaders. We need more devs. We need more artists. We need more podcasters. We need more people in general just to come and contribute in any way they can. And but you need it's a permissionless society, so don't wait for someone to come invite you up on stage.
Facts.
Ask for the mic.
Or take this as your invite.
Take this as your invite. Yeah.
I put together a DM group today to kind of recognize some of our active community members from all the chats, regardless of price action. They've still been posting, they've still been grinding. So I took some time to put a group DM together today to just like say, yo, thank you. I've noticed you guys, because like that's where the leaders come from. That's why I'm doing like artist workshops. That's why I was doing the R3 spaces in the Root console, which I look forward to Rue getting a Discord and maybe like spinning R3 spaces back up. Being able to mint those leaders is essential in this ecosystem. You're right. Like, we only have a set amount of time that we can be here in prime time, grind time. So being able to continue to mint more leaders is incredibly important. And if you're in this ecosystem, there's opportunities for you to grow 100%. Get on stages, unmute your mic, get out of your comfort zone, because like it doesn't matter where you're from in the world, we need to carry this ethos, right? And we share all the same mission. We all share it. So it's a very important mission too. So
getting out of your comfort zone is critical. Everybody needs to do that. Super important. And to that respect, the more you do that on the spaces, once we get this airdrop functionality going, there might be more rewards in it for you, straight up, like in real time. So, get in it to win.
Teach others how to teach. That's
you have apps like Kaido, and now like Wall Chain, where like if you're active on crypto Twitter, like they're like collating you into different categories of influencer and stuff. And things like follower count or fake follower count, they know how to filter that away. And like I do believe that there's going to be opportunity for real, I hate the term KOLs. It just irks me. It's one of those terms that I just don't like.
Yeah, but there's not another better name for it right now, right? Because it's here. So,
but there's going to be so many companies and so many institutions and so many people that need the expertise of people who understand this stuff.
It's really community leaders instead of key opinion leaders. It's really someone that's like yourself, Jack, and GP, and where I say myself and Hero, and community leaders. We're trying to lead the community towards the information to empower themselves by getting more integrated into the mechanisms of the community. We're not just pushing opinions. We're pushing an ethos.
Based.
Key ethos leaders. Like, yes, I agree with that, dude. And getting out of that comfort zone will make you grow in ways that you never knew. Like I like another story about Hero is the first spaces that I ever unmuted my mic in and came on stage were the SIP innovation calls, because like it was tightly knit. I felt comfortable enough to do it. It was a good space, and like I feel like the DeOrganized morning spaces are a really good place, like to come and spend some time with genuine people and get out of that comfort zone, because it's a very laid back space. It's the warm up before the morning show at 8 a.m. ET, right? And Benta is running it, and Benta is such a lovely,
The positivity that comes off of just listening to her talk.
dude,
Yeah.
so good. So
Yeah. No, it's true.
get yourself out there.
And culture is very important in the space. When we were on that BitFlow space earlier today, and we're talking about Bitcoin culture, what it is, and like that got me thinking, because what is Bitcoin culture, and how does it relate to crypto? And it's interesting because I think Bitcoin's so big, it's so many different things to so many people. Even within Maxis, it's not even you can kind of see how it shifts. You have like the people who talk about Bitcoin, and you have like the hardcore libertarian type Bitcoiners, and now you have kind of like a lot of the number go up Bitcoiners. But like the cultural aspect, the crypto aspect of Bitcoin really got kicked off with ordinals. And Stacks has its own culture as well. And it's like the very best of Bitcoin culture and crypto culture combined. And people have to know why we're here,
Look at this. So, Consensus 2025 in Toronto, crypto's most influential event. Meet the architects behind the infrastructure, and look who's right on stage with Charles Hopkinson, the Chainlink founder Sergey Nazarov, and Muriel Medrad, Mooneve, founder of Stacks, right there, talking in Consensus 2025. I just thought that was interesting, seeing that the founder of the blockchain where we all work, or he's getting on these stages and getting involved, and more people are going to learn about what we're doing here because of it. So like we are so early, it's hard to fathom. Stacks at sub dollar levels is a blessing, and
Yeah.
there's so much to come.
So yeah, I was gonna say the people that are new to the stacks most definitely have a lot to explore when they come in here and fill it out, and just ask questions. People are more than happy to answer questions, help you get onboarded with different applications, figure out what you're trying to do, help you get pointed in the right direction, and then also once you're kind of in the mix of the community, don't forget to go back out and find people that aren't a part of the community and inject yourself in those threads on X and start being like, we've got this solved over here. Look for the problems that are being discussed that Stacks is already solving. So there's a lot of it. It's just a matter of doing some search queries on Twitter, putting your name in the hat on a thread. See if you can generate some interest. Be willing to explain what you mean.
And another thing with that too is like get properly educate yourself, do some research. I see a lot of content that is just copy paste stuff, right? And it's one of those things is do you understand what you're talking about? Do some research. Thank you, Steve. I appreciate you, brother. I hope you have a very blessed night.
Love you guys.
Peace, brother.